What if I told you your body whispered long before it ever screamed? Most people miss these whispers until it's too late. Every year, thousands of lives are lost, not because we don't have the tools to prevent disease, but because we ignore the subtle signals our bodies send us. You might feel a slight fatigue, a little bloating, a change in your handwriting. Nothing major, right? But what if I told you those tiny signs could be the early whispers of something far more serious? Today, I'll walk you through a story that could very well save a life, maybe even your own. A few years ago, a woman named Carla walked into my clinic. She was 47, energetic, and too busy to get sick, as she said with a laugh. She came in for a routine checkup, but offhandedly mentioned something odd. My left arm feels a bit heavy at night, but it goes away by morning. She shrugged it off. So had her friends. But I didn't. That tiny complaint opened a door into a world of critical early symptoms, ones that most people brush aside every day. Carla had ignored her symptoms for weeks. She thought it was poor sleep, too much time on her phone, stress from work. But when I ran her through a few neurological tests, I saw patterns. Subtle changes in her balance, slight drooping in her left eye when she laughed. We sent her for an MRI. The results: a small ischemic stroke, a silent one. She hadn't even known it happened. Now here's the lesson: strokes don't always announce themselves with drama. Sometimes, they arrive in whispers like tingling in a limb, temporary memory loss, or a momentary lapse in coordination. Carla was lucky. We caught it early. But every day, people dismiss their body's cries for help because the symptoms seem minor. Let's explore a few that are anything but minor. Symptom 1. Unexplained weight loss. Losing a few pounds might sound like good news, especially if you've been trying. But when the weight drops without any changes to your diet, activity level, or lifestyle, it's time to take a closer look. Unexplained weight loss is one of the body's most overlooked warning signs. And while many chalk it up to stress or an improved metabolism, the truth is often more serious. In my years of practice, I've seen patients lose 10, even 15 pounds without realizing it, only to find out it was their body's way of signaling something much deeper. This kind of weight loss can be a red flag for several underlying conditions. Thyroid disorders, for example, especially hyperthyroidism, can ramp up metabolism and cause rapid weight reduction. But it's not just hormones. Chronic infections like tuberculosis or even untreated HIV can lead to noticeable weight changes. Digestive disorders like Crohn's disease or celiac can prevent your body from properly absorbing nutrients, silently draining your energy and mass. Perhaps most concerning is that unexplained weight loss is sometimes the first visible sign of cancer. Pancreatic, stomach, lung, and colon cancers can trigger changes in how your body uses calories, leading to a drop on the scale that seems out of nowhere. The key isn't to panic, it's to pay attention. If you've lost more than 5% of your body weight in less than 6 months without trying, it's worth bringing up with your doctor. Your body is doing everything it can to protect you, even if it means shedding pounds to get your attention. And sometimes, the clues aren't visible at all. So what should you watch for next when your body doesn't just change shape, but starts feeling tired all the time? Let's talk about persistent fatigue. Symptom 2. Persistent fatigue. We all get tired, it's part of life. But there's a difference between feeling worn out after a long day and being constantly drained, no matter how much you rest. Persistent fatigue is more than just being sleepy. It's a deep, unshakable exhaustion that lingers day after day, affecting your ability to function and enjoy life. And when it sticks around for weeks or months, even after full nights of sleep and stress reduction, it becomes a red flag. This kind of fatigue isn't always about working too hard or staying up late. It can signal serious underlying conditions. Anemia, for instance, reduces the oxygen supply to your tissues, leaving you sluggish and breathless after minimal effort. Heart disease can also present subtly. Your body tires easily because your heart struggles to pump blood efficiently. Then there's thyroid dysfunction. An underactive thyroid slows down nearly every system in your body, leading to weight gain, cold intolerance, and of course, constant fatigue. Chronic fatigue syndrome, often misunderstood and overlooked, leaves people feeling completely depleted, sometimes to the point of being bedridden. Even mental health plays a role. Depression and anxiety can physically exhaust you, making the simplest tasks feel impossible. It's not just in your head. Your brain and body are deeply connected. Fatigue that won't go away is your body waving a caution flag. It doesn't mean something is definitely wrong, but it does mean something deserves a second look. And if tiredness has become your norm, it's time to ask, what's the cause? Because when your energy is low, and nothing seems to fix it, your body might be telling you more than you think. But fatigue doesn't always come alone sometimes. It's paired with subtle mental changes. So what happens when your memory and mood start shifting too? Let's take a closer look. Symptom 3. Subtle mood or memory change. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why? Or found yourself snapping at people for no real reason? It happens to everyone once in a while, but when memory lapses or mood swings become more frequent or more intense, they may be more than just a rough week. Subtle changes in mood, memory, or personality are often the first signs that something deeper is going on beneath the surface. And too often, they're brushed off as stress, age, or burnout. But the truth is, your brain could be waving a silent red flag. Neurological conditions like early-stage Alzheimer's or Parkinson's often begin with changes so small they're mistaken for normal aging. A missed appointment here, a forgotten name there, or a shift in how someone reacts emotionally, more irritable, withdrawn, or even depressed. Even vitamin deficiencies like B12 can mimic cognitive decline, causing confusion and low mood. Thyroid disorders and chronic infections can do the same. And let's not overlook brain tumors or strokes, conditions that can subtly interfere with memory or mood before more dramatic symptoms appear. Mental health conditions are also closely linked. Depression isn't just sadness, it can impair concentration and short-term memory. Anxiety can make it hard to focus, absorb information, or stay emotionally steady. So how do you know when it's time to be concerned? The key is change. If someone who was once upbeat becomes detached, if memory lapses grow more frequent or affect daily life, it's time to check in with the doctor. Our brain is our command center. When it shifts, we need to listen. Because next, we move from the mind to the lungs. What if your breath shortens and stairs start feeling like a mountain? Let's talk about shortness of breath. Symptom 4. Shortness of breath during light activity. Shouldn't feel winded after making your bed, or walking across the room, or climbing a single flight of stairs. Yet, for many people, these everyday tasks suddenly feel like uphill battles. If you find yourself gasping for air during simple activities, don't dismiss it. Your body could be signaling something serious. Shortness of breath, especially when it comes on gradually and without a known cause, can point to underlying problems that often go unnoticed. One of the most common culprits, the heart. When your heart can't pump blood efficiently, oxygen doesn't circulate the way it should. As a result, your muscles, organs, and even your brain may begin to suffer from lack of oxygen, leaving you breathless after minimal exertion. This can be an early sign of heart failure, coronary artery disease, or a valve disorder. Lung conditions are also major contributors. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, asthma, and pulmonary fibrosis can all begin with subtle breathing changes. In some cases, blood clots in the lungs known as pulmonary embolisms present with mild shortness of breath before escalating into a life-threatening emergency. Even anemia, where your body lacks healthy red blood cells, can leave you fatigued and gasping for air, especially during movement. Here's the key. If you're noticing breathlessness that wasn't there before, and it's getting worse, it's not just about getting older or being out of shape. Your cardiovascular or respiratory system might be under strain. Shortness of breath during light activity isn't just inconvenient, it's a warning. And when paired with other changes, it paints a fuller picture of your health. Because sometimes, it's not how you move, but how steady your hands are. Let's explore what happens when coordination and even handwriting start to shift. Symptom 5. Changes in handwriting or coordination. Have you noticed your handwriting shrinking, or your fingers trembling slightly when buttoning a shirt? These changes might seem harmless, maybe even chalked up to age or stress, but they can be the earliest clues to something more significant. Subtle shifts in coordination, dexterity, or fine motor skills are often the body's way of hinting that the nervous system is under stress. When your brain struggles to send clear signals to your muscles, small daily tasks begin to feel awkward, slow, or clumsy. One of the first places this shows up is your handwriting. What used to be a fluid, consistent script may now appear smaller, shakier, or uneven. This is called micrographia, and it's one of the classic early signs of Parkinson's disease. But Parkinson's isn't the only concern. Multiple sclerosis, stroke, or even early stages of ALS can lead to similar coordination changes. Neuropathy, nerve damage, often caused by diabetes, can also make simple movements more difficult or unstable. It's not just about the hands. You might stumble more often, misjudge distances, or feel like your balance isn't quite what it used to be. These are signs worth paying attention to, not just brushing off as clumsiness. The nervous system is incredibly complex, and it rarely malfunctions overnight. Symptoms often begin subtly, giving you time to act if you're paying attention. So, if your movements feel off or your handwriting has noticeably changed, don't ignore it. Bring it up. Getting evaluated early could make a real difference in outcomes, because when movement shifts, digestion might follow. Next, let's turn our attention to the gut and explore what persistent bloating and digestive changes might be telling you. Symptom 6. Persistent bloating or digestive change. We've all felt bloated after a big meal. But if that bloating becomes a regular part of your day, especially when it's not tied to what you eat, it's time to pay closer attention. Persistent bloating, along with other subtle digestive changes like constipation, diarrhea, or a sudden loss of appetite, could be more than just a sensitive stomach. In fact, these are often the body's earliest and most overlooked signals of deeper issues. One common cause is irritable bowel syndrome (IBS), which affects how your gut moves food through your system. But more serious conditions like inflammatory bowel disease (IBD), Crohn's disease, or ulcerative colitis can also start with mild discomfort that slowly escalates. And then, there's the silent danger: cancers of the gastrointestinal tract. Ovarian cancer, for instance, is notoriously difficult to catch early, and persistent bloating is often one of its first signs. Likewise, colon and stomach cancers may quietly begin with changes in digestion before any pain appears. Another red flag: feeling full too quickly. If your appetite shrinks or you feel uncomfortable after eating small amounts, your body could be warning you that something's pressing against your digestive organs, whether from inflammation, fluid buildup, or a growing mass. The digestive system is a window into overall health. It's where your body processes nutrients, eliminates waste, and even produces mood-regulating hormones. When something shifts in your gut, it often reflects a larger imbalance. Don't let discomfort become your norm. If bloating or bowel changes persist for more than 2 weeks, it's worth a conversation with your doctor, because when your body sends subtle, consistent messages, it's not nagging, it's protecting you. And sometimes, those whispers add up to something bigger. So what does it all mean when multiple early symptoms begin to appear together? Our bodies are brilliant communicators. They speak in codes through sensations, energy, habits, and instincts. The problem is, we often override them with logic. I'm just stressed. It'll pass. It's probably nothing. But if your car made a strange sound every day, wouldn't you get it checked? Think of your body as a deeply intelligent machine, one that deserves your attention, respect, and curiosity. Ignoring the whispers can turn them into screams. And by then, it may be too late. Carla's story ended well. She got treatment, made lifestyle changes, and never missed another subtle sign again. But not everyone gets a second chance. So ask yourself, what is your body trying to tell you right now? Don't wait until your body is shouting. Listen while it's still whispering. If this video opened your eyes to something, even just a little, give it a like, leave a comment about what signs you've noticed, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. And subscribe for more real life-changing health insights, because your life is too important to ignore the signs.